Hey everyone, szsr here. Today I'm going to be watching the 21st episode of the second season of Mushoku Tensei. Last episode we ended off on a pretty exciting note because Roxy, the one and only girl of legend, we finally reunited with her, and Rudy got to do so as like the hero, like rescuer. So we got to go from back in the day when Rudy was just little boy that could barely do magic, and he's got this older woman to come and just help him, and all that good stuff. But now it was an opportunity for Roxy to look up at Rudy and all that growth and where how far he's come and what he's able to do as a result of that, which is to save her. So hopefully we can get some nice talking between Roxy and Rudy. That would be great. So hopefully we can squeeze some of that in the overall mission. But yeah, as always, if you enjoyed the video, please click the like button and support me on Patreon for early access and whatnot. And let us begin in 3, 2, 1, play. There's Roxy. I recognize that blue hair anywhere. Is this a bit of a flashback? It must be, right? We're gonna get to see just things get worse and worse. We are, yeah, we are lost. I think that's safe to say. A lot. Being Roxy is suffering. I'm glad we're getting this extra context. Seeing what she's been doing this whole time. Ordinary happiness. Sometimes it's not so ordinary. This would be a lot more depressing if I didn't already know Rudy rescues her. Power of hindsight and all that. And that's how the icicle crumbles. Yeah, back to current. Yeah, she fell in love all over again. It's okay, you can come hug me. Okay, I guess he took it. I guess he took it upon himself. But we got there. I should have known Rudy would find a way to make it weird. That's not what she meant. She hasn't bathed in a while and peed herself, so I would not mind any of that, though. Oh. Okay. Okay. That's how we're playing this. That's gotta hurt a little bit. I actually didn't even consider this, but wow. That's gotta hurt. He thinks about you so many times, he worships your Pantsu, you don't even remember him. But I like how she didn't mind the aggressive sniffing for any other reason aside from just she doesn't smell very good, She wasn't creeped out or anything by it, despite believing this was a stranger, so that's cool. But I guess I can't blame her too much for not recognizing him. It's been a long time. He's a lot bigger. But because she remembers Rudy like his existence for sure. But just I felt that in my kokoro. I just can't believe this is happening. We've really reunited with Roxy. I also do like how Rudy just like went for the hug, didn't even say anything first. Because it makes sense. Roxy was like the first friend he made in this world, I believe. I believe that she was before Sylphie. I'm pretty sure on that. Actually, I'm doubting myself the more I think about it. Either way, one of the first people he met, and hasn't seen her for like ever. So it's a big deal, for sure. Okay, yeah. Probably for the best somebody carries her. Not at all. That's not why. That's not why. Yeah, heaven and hell just clashing in his stomach. That's vomit is understandable. Oh, right. Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about that. Now we can really understand. The show's so good about those sort of parallels and stuff. More hugging. Before trying to peek on her. Okay, I'm still sleeping. Yeah, get as much rest as you need, Roxy. Wow, she's looking much better. He can definitely sense his goddess's presence. Yeah, not at all. You're still older than him and his sensei and all that. And that'd just be weird. It definitely is weird just seeing her be shorter than him. I mean, Sylvie's probably taller than her at this point. I'd have to check, but if I was Roxy, I wouldn't want to go back in there. Because a month is a long time if you really think about it. Like it's like a horse that you fall off of. Okay. That's what I was thinking. Because you almost make it sound like a supernatural thing, but I figured no. Hi. I just miss hearing Roxy's voice. I wonder how much time we're going to spend before we actually do jump back into the labyrinth. Because we'd like a little bit of time just to, slice of life kind of stuff with Roxy and whatnot. Is something on your mind, Rudy? He's missed her so much. Things have so changed. She probably would. Some things are worth a try. I would like to get some insight into what she's thinking right now. Because there's probably more to it than Rudy is saying. But I had sickle field. Yeah, it looks like we're jumping into it pretty quickly, so... It's kind of why I want to check out the novel at some point, because you probably do have a bit more time to, in between important events to really delve into how the characters are feeling and whatnot. Like, I'm definitely checking out the novel when the show's over. that would not be good. Rude. And just the way she talks to Rudy, it's so different. Like, it feels like Rudy's older, but, he's not. Just that tone of voice she's doing, it's like so... It's so moe, for lack of a better term. You don't even have to ask twice, like... No reason to to reject that offer. Yeah, when you have a kid, you do have a little bit less time for adventuring. Did we tell her we have a kid yet, or on the way rather? Because I'm not sure how much we filled her in on. This is where he shines. They don't look that scary. Why? Okay, that's good. That's good to know. Oof, I stepped in the mud. Oh no. That's understandable. This could just be the whole show right here. I would watch it. This like MMORPG party dungeon crawling sort of thing, But that that was a face. But yeah, wants to show off for his son and all that. I got you. I'm starting to overthink it a bit, but that's all it was, I think. Yeah, she feels different. I guess because she's still just adjusting to this new Rudy, not trying to act around him. That might be it. But she definitely feels a bit more childish, again, for lack of a better word, with some of the ways, some of the moments, some of the things she says to him, the tone of voice and all that. I like this one. It's pointy. I guess a lot. Yeah, that was a sad thing. We had some close calls too. Roxy, you should consider yourself lucky Paul didn't put a baby in you when you were there. Because it happened to all the other women in that house. Take that line out of context. Just because you're such a good shisho. Let's do it. Let's get mommy back. Not that mommy. Or grandmother, whatever you want to call her. I mean, whenever we do find her, I know we're going to have to fight like a final boss of the dungeon kind of thing. Because there's a one really spoilery shot of the opening that really gives that impression. Bum, 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 bum. Like, this whole adventure just makes me want to play an RPG. Bum, 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 bum. I'm actually currently playing Dark Souls 3. Currently stuck on a certain dragon boss in the Ring City DLC. No. I mean, having that Yamato Nadeshiko wife would be nice, but no. We got Sylphie. But uh, Roxy seemed relieved there. I feel like we have not told her about Sylphie yet. Ghislaine, there's a name I haven't heard in a while. Person I haven't seen in a while. I actually didn't even realize how much I miss her until now. How much time do we have left? Oh, not much. Damn it. I mean, Dark Souls has illusion walls. Yeah, what's your basis? Okay. Is he trying to tell Rudy to hit that? Because he has a wife. Not that it never stopped Paul, but you know. Okay. Is he implying what I think he's implying? Because I think I get what he's trying to say. Man, Paul. I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm just saying... Not sure that's the best lesson to give Rudy. And about now... There we go. See, Rudy was right. We made our own entrance. Weren't you the one that said there was nothing more? People, stop hitting me. You know, for the 4th time, it's your own fault for not being prepared to get hit. Okay, you can hit me. She doesn't want to be left out. God, she's so cute. I think she should be our second sword. Yeah, it ends there. Magic circle to the 6th stratum. Little Sylphie. I feel like I could just talk a bunch in this discussion about just general Mushoku Tensei things. General Mushoku Tensei thoughts. That part, every single time, just every single time it stirs up feelings. You know, when they say pictures worth 1,000 words, that really does come to mind. Parents. I mean, it's translated as parents. I don't think the actual title, it's just the kanji for a parent, like it's not plural. So it's, you know. So it could just be referring to a single parent, like Zenith, for instance. But anyway, it's hard to know for sure. But yeah, that was the 21st episode of the 2nd season of Mushoku Tensei. If I can find my cursor. Now that I messed it all up, but okay. So this episode, man, where to start? Where to start? Roxy. We got to reunite with Roxy, our amazing, lovable Roxy. And it was a little bit awkward because she didn't recognize him at first. He's like, Roxy, hugs, hugs, sniff, sniff, sniff. I do want to go back to the sniffing part, because I want to know if I'm just exaggerating in my head just how, like, over the top the sniffing was. I want to look at it again before I talk more about it. Because he hugs her, which definitely, you know, she's very clearly taken aback by it a little bit. Yeah, we have the sniffing, the long sniffing, the head raising, the smiling, the exhaling. So yeah, I think it would qualify under creepy sniffing. I would do the same, but I'm just saying it like how it is. So, but yeah, she wasn't bothered by anything like that. She just currently she's not in her opinion, currently she's not in a state to be worthy of being sniffed. That's a weird way to put it, but that's basically what it is. So she's pretty understandable. But since he just saved her life, that does make sense, you know. If the person that saved my life was a little bit weird or a little bit too forward, I would just not make a big deal about it because they just saved my life, you know. So I can appreciate that, but it was definitely a little bit sad that she did not recognize Rudy. But man, I feel like I have so much to talk about with this. I just don't know where to begin. It's just an interesting thing with Roxy, right? Because she's one of the first people we met. Rudy was like, what, 5 or 6? Something like that, maybe younger. When he first met Roxy, the parents were like, yay, our baby, well, mostly Zenith, was like, our baby boy, he's got magic and talent for magic. I gotta bring somebody to help foster that talent. And we brought Roxy, right? Immediately some disrespect towards her because how young she is and all that, even though she's clearly older than Rudy, right? A lot taller than Rudy. But still, she's much more experienced in magic and could teach him a lot. But he's also kind of like sort of a magic prodigy, right? So he was able to advance very quickly, right? Roxy eventually had to go separate ways, and Roxy goes on her own adventure, her own her path of self-growth improvement gets a lot better and everything like that. And we just don't see her for like ever, right? And after her, Rudy meets other people. He meets Sylphie. And he meets Eris, right? Both of them younger and shorter than Roxy, right? Because Roxy is like another race essentially, whereas I guess Sylvie technically is another race too, right? There's like a half elf, I believe. But anyway, distracting from my point. They were both all are more or less around the same size, you know, in age as Rudy comparatively to Roxy, right? So then we have many years pass. Rudy gets bigger, but so does Sylphie and Eris. Presumably, I mean, it's been a while since we've seen her, but we can assume she's at least Sylphie's height, right? So now, even though Roxy was the big girl when we first met, you know, older than everyone, including Rudy, taller, now we come back and now she's noticeably shorter than Rudy, right? Like she actually feels like a younger girl than him because of that size difference. And she probably feels some inclination to treat him like an older, reliable figure, right? Despite the fact that she has known him since she was a little boy. So that alone just causes a very interesting dynamic between the two of them. And I do think some of the strangeness I may have felt in this episode is Roxy adjusting to that new dynamic, which is really interesting to see. But Roxy, like, she's always been a kind of a goddess status to Rudy. You know, we have the Ponzu and all that. I don't need to remind you too much about that stuff, but Roxy's always been on Rudy's mind, you know. But she'd never, even though she was probably the first, I think he met her before Sylphie. I'm gonna just go with that, even though I'm doubting myself. But even though she was like the first girl he met, she did not become his girlfriend. That was Eris, right? Eris ended up, well, I mean, she had they had the first time together, right? So I'm not sure you really call that girlfriend since she left afterwards, but because we had Eris do that, and then we had Sylphie, who he knew before Eris, who we actually ended up marrying and now having a child together. So we're in a position where he has a very, very different relationships with all three of the women that are like the original cute anime girls, isekai girls that he met in this world, and now just all very different status. So I'm not sure really where I was going with that, but just it's one of the things that just makes the show feel so unique, right? Compared to similar kind of isekai shows where the main character meets some girls, maybe one at a time, but they're all just kind of like in the party. They're around, hang out with each other, you know. They're not really status-wise, they're not really much different from each other, right? So If you just want that as like an example to look at, to just show kind of the different level that Mushoku Tensei is compared to the average generic isekai, fantasy, both wish fulfillment anime, that's a good thing to look at, right? So that's more or less what I was just bubbling up. I just wanted to talk about real quick. But yes, one thing I'd really want to get into, like learn about, is exactly what's going on in Roxy's head, because I don't really think we got any like internal monologue stuff from Roxy. We got her all cleaned up and rested and feeling good, and eventually get her back into the dungeon, get back on the horse, as they say. But they had one or two scenes where there could be some implication that she does like Rudy, especially when she was like not a host, she's just her girlfriend or something. I do want to go back to that scene if I can find it. That might be a bit harder to find. I might pause recording until I can find it. Yeah, it was right here. Is that ... your girlfriend? And she has a very clearly concerned look on her face as she says this. And he denies it. And then we go back to her face, where she has a very clear, relieved smile. Like, it's even less subtle than I thought it was the first time. Not subtle at all that she's relieved there. So the only way you could really take that is she likes Rudy, right? And there's something I definitely did not think would happen, really. So that's interesting. Especially because he already has a wife, and he has Eris. The status of that, I'm not sure what to call that. She's already candidate to be sword number 2, as it is, but, and yeah, back to that, Paul was very clearly encouraging him to have both Roxy and Sophie, right? Not to just be tied down by one woman. Like, maybe Sophie's enough for you now, but at some point it's okay to have that second sword, to have Roxy on the side. Very clearly what he was talking about there. Like, I'm not that dense. But again, like, he needs 3 swords because he's got Eris. So I'm not sure how this is going to go. Because Sophie, because I remember back in the first half of season 2, Sophie was thinking about children and Paul and, how Paul is. And I think she was more or less thinking about the idea of Rudy having more than one girl. And I think she would accept it if he did. I wish I could remember that scene a bit more clearly, but I feel like, especially if it's a girl that Sophie knows and is friends with, it'd probably be even more likely to be permission to be granted for that. But again, we're talking 2 extra girls here because it's Eris and Roxy, so we'll see. We'll see how things go. But we go into the dungeon with Roxy, and we got to the secret passageway, and next episode is probably going to be like the boss chamber, I have to imagine. That should be pretty exciting. And this discussion's been very long. I don't think there's really much more to really say on it. Like, I would have liked a little bit more of the Roxy hanging out stuff, but we did get a bit more than I expected. Not as much as I wanted, but a bit more than I expected. So I'll take it for now, as long as we continue it at a later episode. But yeah, just having Roxy here, it's a great morale boost. But Eris is, even though she wasn't in the episode, Eris was on my mind a decent amount, because the longer we go without seeing her, the more I'm wondering what we're going to do with her in the show, because Eris still likes Rudy, I'm pretty sure, right? So she's going to show up again at some point, somewhere, and things may continue to change before she gets back into the show. Like, because if he does officially make Roxy like his mistress, his second girlfriend, whatever you want to call her, then that does kind of open up potential to have Eris enter that same status that Roxy's in with Rudy. So, depending on when Eris shows up, could have a big influence into how things go. But yes, I think I've talked enough as it is, so we're just going to end it off here. But good stuff. I'm really into this arc. I'm a little bit nervous how things are going to go. Hopefully, we are able to rescue Zenith, and we can just have a heartfelt reunion. I mean, the next episode was called Parents. Yeah. So makes it pretty clear we're gonna, unless we're talking about Paul, which would be kind of weird. We've been with Paul the past couple episodes. That doesn't make any sense. So Zenith, we may not rescue her next episode, but we're definitely going to see her next episode, right? We may just see her like trapped behind the boss. But I'm leaning towards we're gonna beat the boss next episode and rescue her next episode. No guarantee, but yeah, hopefully. But yeah, anyway, thank you for watching, and hope to see you in the next video. Until then, bye-bye.